Just think about it, if a drone that costs only a few $1,000s has to be stopped using missiles worth millions, how drastically can that change the economics of war? At the center of this mystery is Iran's unusual weapon, the Shahed 136 kamikaze drone, also known as a suicide drone. For a long time, people believed that the more advanced and expensive a weapon is, the more powerful it is on the battlefield. But the Shahed 136 is turning that idea upside down. Another unusual feature of this drone is its sound. When it flies, its engine noise resembles that of a scooter. That's why it is sometimes called a flying scooter. It uses a small two-stroke engine, similar to what you'd find in a scooter. That distinct sound often creates fear, because when people hear it, they know something is coming. This is where the real strength of this drone begins. It is often called a kamikaze or suicide drone. In military terms, it is known as loitering munition. Unlike traditional missiles that strike directly, this drone can stay in the air for a long time, searching for its target, like a hunting bird. It has a range of up to 2,000 kilometers, but its real power lies in numbers. These drones are rarely used alone. Often, dozens or even hundreds are launched simultaneously, and they don't all strike the same target. They spread out and hit multiple targets. They usually fly at low altitudes, close to the ground, which makes them harder to detect on radar. And by the time they are detected, it may already be too late. Technically, they can be intercepted, but here lies the biggest problem: cost. A drone costing only a few $1,000s may require a missile worth hundreds of thousands or even millions to destroy it. For example, Israel's Iron Dome system uses Tamir interceptors, which are far more expensive than these drones. Using America's Patriot missiles increases the cost even further. Yet, among all these, there appears a weapon that costs only a few $1,000s, sometimes even less than an old car. And that weapon is the Shahed 136 drone. It uses a simple two-stroke gasoline engine capable of producing around 50 horsepower, allowing it to fly at speeds of up to 200 kilometers per hour. It doesn't need a special cooling system. The airflow during flight naturally cools the engine. But the surprising part is that against this massive power stands a weapon that costs less than an ordinary car. And this tiny weapon is slowly beginning to change the entire equation of modern warfare. Many military analysts now say that because of this drone, Iran has developed a strategy where victory is not about raw power, but about intelligence and economic pressure. Some targets are not always visible. They appear briefly and disappear within seconds. So, the drone circles above, waiting for the perfect moment. And when that moment comes, it suddenly dives down, destroying the target in an explosion, and itself along with it. Imagine a battlefield where, on one side, stand the world's most powerful military forces, the United States and Israel, equipped with advanced fighter jets, billion-dollar missiles, and the most sophisticated air defense systems on Earth. Imagine a battlefield where, on one side, stand the world's most powerful military forces, the United States and Israel, equipped with advanced fighter jets, billion-dollar missiles, and the most sophisticated air defense systems on Earth. The drone is about 3.5 meters long, with a wingspan of around 3 meters, and weighs roughly 220 kilograms. At the front, it carries an explosive warhead weighing between 30 to 50 kilograms. At the back, there is a propeller that pushes it forward. Consider this: America's famous Tomahawk cruise missile costs several $1,000,000. Russia's Kh-101 cruise missile is also priced in the millions. Even Iran's own Fateh ballistic missiles can cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. In some cases, the drone can even detect radar signals. If it identifies an air defense radar, it can attack it directly. Because once the radar is destroyed, the entire defense system becomes nearly blind. The drone is launched using a special truck-mounted launcher with a rail. A small rocket booster is attached underneath, which propels it into the air. Once airborne, the main engine takes over and the booster detaches automatically. Some reports even suggest that interceptor missile stockpiles in countries like the US and Israel are being stretched thin. Because while Iran can produce these drones quickly and in large numbers, advanced interceptor missiles take much longer and cost far more to manufacture. So in the end, where this battle will lead, and what the future holds, is something the world is now beginning to understand. For stability, it has control surfaces at the rear, and flaps and elevons on the wings that help it change direction, controlled by small servo motors. At its core, there is a compact computer system that manages the entire flight. It also uses GPS to determine its position via satellites. If GPS fails, it switches to an inertial navigation system, where sensors calculate its speed and direction to keep it on course. We are now living in a time where war, global politics, and economic crises are making the future uncertain for many people. At first glance, this drone may look simple, not like a massive fighter jet or a terrifying missile. But in reality, this small weapon has quietly started to reshape the concept of modern warfare over the past few years. That's why many experts believe the Shahed 136 is not just a drone, it represents a new reality of modern warfare. A reality where billion-dollar weapons are challenged by something that costs only a few $1,000s. In simple terms, destroying a cheap drone often requires a much more expensive weapon. And when hundreds of such drones attack at once, even advanced defense systems can become overwhelmed.